Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into a stack of fascinating new insights, all from the ever-evolving world of cryptocurrencies.
That's right.
You've given us some fresh articles, really hot off the digital press, all published today, June 18th, 2025.
Yeah, it's a busy day in crypto news.
So our mission for this deep dive, it's really to cut through the noise, try and extract the most important nuggets of knowledge for you. We'll explore everything from specific coin movements and some pretty bold price predictions to, well, critical warnings about global crypto regulation and maybe where that smart money is heading.
Exactly. It's a dynamic landscape.
It really is.
And we're here to help you map it. We'll help you understand not just what is happening, but crucially, why it matters.
Yeah.
Giving you that comprehensive snapshot of the crypto scene, hopefully without the usual information overload.
Okay, let's unpack this then.
Yeah.
Our sources, they seem to reveal a market of some pretty striking contrasts today. What stands out immediately as we look at these, well, varied signals?
What's immediately clear, I think, is the diverging sentiment across different assets. We're seeing pockets of strong bullish conviction
Right
alongside some persistent weakness elsewhere. It's not all moving in sync.
Absolutely. Let's maybe start with those individual coin movements, because it truly is, like you said, a mixed bag. On one hand, we're seeing some, well, undeniably bullish signals for Cardano, ADA.
Yeah, ADA is interesting today.
What's driving that upward momentum?
Well, the article we looked at highlights that ADA bulls are really taking charge. The positive sentiment is lining up nicely with strong support around that door 61-cent mark.
Okay.
And there's also a positive CVD signal. That's cumulative volume delta for those tracking.
Right, the technical indicator.
Exactly. It basically tracks buying versus selling pressure using volume. And right now, it suggests more people are actively buying ADA than selling it.
Pushing that potential upward trend.
Precisely. Hints at renewed optimism there.
Okay, so while ADA is showing those bullish signs, what about XRP? It's a coin often at the center of attention, right? But it seems to be kind of stuck in neutral.
Yeah, XRP is a different story today. If we zoom out to the bigger picture, XRP remains, well, stubbornly locked in this sideways trading range.
Which is between?
Specifically between about $2.10 and $2.30. Our sources indicate, several weeks now of fading momentum.
Not great.
No. And critically, there just aren't any strong breakout catalysts on the horizon mentioned. Nothing to really push it out of that range.
So that suggests?
Continued weakness, really. A lack of conviction in its price action, at least in the short term.
Got it. And then there's Kaspa, K-A-S.
Yeah.
This one's really intriguing. The price has seen a pretty significant crash.
Yeah, quite a drop.
But the top wallets, the big players, the whales, they're still buying. That feels, well, counterintuitive maybe.
Yeah.
What does that tell us about market conviction there?
It absolutely raises a fascinating question about long-term belief, doesn't it? Despite a staggering 65% crash from its high back in August 2024.
65%.
Yeah, it's major. But the fact that these largest investors, the ones holding significant amounts in those top wallets, are accumulating KAS, well, it suggests a deep conviction in its long-term potential.
So they see value despite the drop.
It hints that some major players see tremendous value, yeah. Despite the recent decline, maybe they're betting on future developments or broader adoption down the line. It's a watch this space situation.
Right. Okay, so these individual stories, ADA surge, XRP sideways action, KS's weird accumulation, they show the microdynamics. But let's broaden our lens now to the macro.
Okay.
Specifically to the ultimate crypto bellwether, Bitcoin. We have a really bold forecast from analyst Brad Mills. He's suggesting Bitcoin could soar to an astonishing price of $3 million per coin.
Wow, that's
a potential 100-fold increase. Here's where it gets really interesting. What's the thinking behind such an audacious prediction?
Well, the surprising element here isn't just the sheer scale of the prediction, right?
Yeah.
3 million is huge, but it's the underlying confidence behind it. Brad Mills' forecast reflects this deep belief in what people often call hyper-Bitcoinization.
Explain that a bit.
It's this idea where Bitcoin absorbs a really significant portion of global wealth. It's a vision where Bitcoin evolves beyond just being a speculative asset to become a primary global reserve asset, maybe even challenging gold's market cap.
Which is enormous.
Exactly. And that would naturally drive its value far, far beyond current levels. It's a very long-term structural bet on Bitcoin's future role in the whole global financial system. Not something expected tomorrow, obviously.
Right. A massive long-term vision. Okay, so from that colossal view for Bitcoin, let's pivot to something maybe a bit more immediate.
Sure.
Beyond Bitcoin, some smart money seems to be actively accumulating specific altcoins right now. They seem to be anticipating the next altcoin season.
Yes, that's a key theme in one of the articles.
So what are they looking at, and why those particular coins?
The sources point to 3 specific cryptocurrencies. First up is CRO.
Okay, Crypto.com coin.
Right. It's apparently gaining momentum because of its rising utility across the whole Crypto.com ecosystem, trading, payments, their debit cards, everything.
So it's a bet on the platform itself growing?
Pretty much, yeah. A bet on their continued growth. Second is Pi Network.
Okay.
It's eyeing a rebound as a substantial number of tokens. 68 million tokens unlock. The expectation is that this will significantly boost network activity and engagement.
More tokens circulating, more activity.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Hopefully. And third, PEPE is also mentioned as showing bullish strength.
Ah, the meme coin. Still going strong.
Apparently continuing to ride that wave of meme coin popularity, yes. So this section, CRO, PI, PPE, it gives us a bit of a glimpse into where some strategic investors might be positioning themselves for the next potential cyclical upturn in alts.
Interesting mix. Okay, shifting gears now completely. Let's talk regulation. There's a pretty strong warning flag by Franklin Templeton. They're saying Europe might be falling behind in the global crypto race.
Yeah, that's a significant point raised.
That sounds quite serious. What does it really mean for innovation, for the future of crypto development in Europe?
Well, it really begs the question of competitive disadvantage, doesn't it? Europe, which was actually seen as a front runner for a while with frameworks like MiCA.
Right, they seemed ahead.
They did. But now it risks becoming just a corridor for innovation rather than an innovation hub itself.
A corridor meaning?
Meaning like a place things pass through but don't originate. The article suggests the United States and parts of Asia are rapidly advancing, maybe with clearer regulatory frameworks or perhaps just more permissive environments for now.
So the risk is capital flight, talent drain.
That's the critical takeaway, yeah. This lag could mean capital drain, talent, and investment flowing to these, let's say, more crypto-friendly or at least clearer jurisdictions.
Leaving Europe behind.
Potentially leaving European financial centers as just sort of on-ramps for innovations developed elsewhere, rather than the places where the next big crypto breakthroughs actually happen. It's a warning shot.
Yeah. Definitely something to watch. And finally, one last big piece. Merging traditional finance with blockchain. Coinbase is pushing for SEC approval to offer tokenized stocks on the blockchain. So what does this all mean for you, the listener, and for the broader financial system?
This is potentially huge. In the broader context, Coinbase's move isn't just about, integrating traditional assets with blockchain tech.
It's more than that.
I think so. It feels like a direct challenge to the traditional brokerage model, seeking SEC approval to list tokenized stocks. That's a pivotal step. It could fundamentally change how securities are traded and owned.
How so? Give us an example.
Well, think about it. Enabling things like fractional ownership of really high-value assets, making them accessible to more people.
Okay.
Or 204/7 trading that never sleeps, unlike traditional markets. And potentially far faster settlement times than the current, T+1 or T+2 process.
He's heard that delay.
Exactly. It effectively blurs the lines between TradFi and DeFi, traditional and decentralized finance, and in some ways it could disintermediate layers of the legacy financial system, making things more efficient, maybe more accessible.
Wow. Okay, so wrapping this up then, what we've seen in this deep dive today is a really vibrant, complex, and sometimes contradictory picture of the crypto world.
Definitely complex.
From ADA's focused bullish signals and XRP's, puzzling stagnation, to Bitcoin's absolutely audacious $3 million prediction. Plus, the strategic plays of smart money and specific altcoins and these critical developments in global regulation that traditional finance integration push. It's a lot to take in.
It is. And understanding these interconnected trends, from individual coin dynamics all the way up to geopolitical regulatory stances and institutional adoption, it's absolutely key.
Yeah.
It's key to grasping the broader implications of this rapidly evolving digital frontier. It really shows how nuanced and interconnected the whole space truly is. Nothing happens in a vacuum here.
No, absolutely not. And for you, the learner, hopefully this helps clarify that the crypto market isn't just about prices flashing on a screen.
Right.
It's about these shifting global landscapes, these big strategic decisions by major players, and that constant push for innovation and integration that really promises to reshape finance as we know it.
And thinking about all that, maybe this raises an important question for you to consider as you continue to explore this space.
Okay, leave us with a thought.
How might this divergence we talked about, the different regulatory approaches between global regions, combined with this increasing drive for tokenized traditional assets, how might that combination shape the next wave, whether that's disruption or stability or maybe a bit of both in the overall financial system?
Regulation versus innovation. Tradition versus tokenization.
Yeah, it's definitely something to ponder as we watch this space continue to evolve at lightning speed.